When the average person hears sex worker, they think person who has sex for money. I've never had penetrative sex for money, so why do I call myself a sex worker? I was a stripper for 5 years, and during that time I also dabbled in phone sex, webcam modelling and pro-dom work. Despite never having had sexual intercourse or exchanged physical sexual stimulation for money, I still identify as a sex worker. Sex work is generally used as an umbrella term to encompass all forms of adult sexual entertainment where someone is creating financial gain through their erotic capital. Erotic capital is the term used to describe the earning power or social value of a person's sexual attractiveness. Sex work as an umbrella term describes everything from phone sex, stripping, erotic massage, professional domination or submission, escorting, sugar babying, sexual surrogacy, etc., all the way to full service sex work. To me, the term holds all acts as equal and equally deserving of respect. The reason I use this term to describe the kind of work I have done is because I don't want to hold any one kind of sex work as better or worse than any other kind. There's a term used primarily within sex work communities, the whorearchy. This is a hierarchy within sex work where some individual workers hold themselves as better than others. Examples of this could be: I'm a stripper, not a prostitute. I'm an exotic dancer, not a stripper. I'm an escort, not a hooker. I use these words as examples and they definitely don't represent how I feel. Hooker and prostitute are generally felt to be slurs designed to degrade and shame, although some individual workers are reclaiming them as their own. I don't want to perpetuate the idea that some forms of sex work are better than others, some people more or less deserving of respect, or having their human rights upheld. I believe that all people should be able to make their own decisions when it comes to their boundaries in relation to their body and the kind of sex work they do or don't do, and be protected by the law and respected by their fellow humans. However, it's important to acknowledge the huge privilege I have in being able to self-identify as a sex worker. I'm white, cisgendered, straight-passing, middle-class and well-spoken. My family is loving and open-minded. I risk little when I come out as a sex worker, and I keep my family, my friends and my job. Many sex workers, even those who do not work in full-service sex, are at genuine risk of losing their homes, their children, their families, their jobs or even their lives if people know what they do. Sex workers are ostracised, disowned, stalked, abused and murdered because of the stigma around the work they do. So I think it's imperative that we're able to identify however we feel comfortable and support each other in doing the same, without placing shame on other forms of sex work just because we choose not to do it for ourselves. It's also important that we break down the stigma around sex work and fight to protect the rights of our fellow human beings. Stigma kills. You may not like that sex workers exist. You may not like what it says about our culture, but we do exist. Some choose the work, some do it out of necessity and circumstances, and others are forced into it through predation and violence. And none of these people are served when sex work is stigmatised, shamed and pushed underground. This is why I identify as a sex worker.